Well, guys, today we have a question from Mark who's getting into jiu-jitsu. He's 42 years old, and like most people that are of his age, a little bit older, getting into jiu-jitsu, he has to make the most of his time with training because he's limited, right? He's not 20 years old, has no life responsibilities. He's got a life he has to hold down. He's probably got a family. You probably have a mortgage or two. You got all kinds of stuff you got to take care of, right, Mark? So you can't just live in the gym. Can't live on the mats unless you want to get divorced and lose your family. Anyway, he says that he's wanting to get the most from his training, and one of the ideas that he's come across is using a journal. So he wants to start journaling, and he's wondering if I have any best practices on how to use a journal. So Mark, thank you for the question, bro. So check this out. Journaling can be useful. I'll tell you the ways that I found it more useful, to be honest. And again, I can't tell you what works for everyone, but I can tell you what's been useful to me. When you're rolling, I know you're relatively new to jiu-jitsu, but when you're rolling, jiu-jitsu acts like a mirror, right? When you roll, you will have these experiences with training, and it will give you a reflection of what's going on with you, right? And those reflections can be physical, they can be mental, right? Because it could be very much a, someone pulls your arm and you got arm barred, and so you're like, ooh, I need to keep my arm. That's a very much a physical thing, right? I need to pull this arm back so I don't get arm barred. Or, I'm pushing up and mount and someone's arm barring me. I need to be mindful of that. Those are very physical things. And if you sort of think about your role after training's done, I'll give you another idea on this in a second, on how to do this, you'll have ideas to work on what you physically need to, right? The other thing to think about is that you will get a reflection of all the emotional, internal stuff going on, your mindset. There's times where you might find that you give up too easily. You get that little voice inside your head that's like, hey, Mark, just stop, just tap, give up. The negative stuff, all the stuff that makes you a smaller version of yourself, right? And you just lay over and let someone crush you afterwards. Or you might find that you get very emotional and angry. I know I had a lot of trouble with this when I was younger, when I would get very frustrated at times, and I would start to get angry, and then I would want to charge in and try to be more aggressive, which only made things worse because I was becoming less technical, more aggressive, which means I was just leaving my arms out, and in a lot of cases I would end up getting triangled by people because I was leaving my head forward too much. And so again, for me, looking back at this, I had to deal with that. I had to deal with those emotions. So again, jiu-jitsu is your mirror. It will give you an idea as to what's going on with your physical, with your mindset, and it's there for you to look at. This is why when someone's like, what should I work on? I'm like, think about the last roll where you experienced some difficulty. What happened? There you go. There are lessons right there. Whether it's a tournament match, where it's a roll in the gym, every time you have a difficult roll where maybe you got beat, maybe you had someone do something to you, if you really take a moment to look at that roll and think about what just happened, you can get some ideas on what you should work on, or what you should or need to work on. But you have to take this time as reflective practice. And there's some studies to sort of back up the idea that this reflective activity of actually thinking about what just happened, how did everything go, what could I do better next time? It's very powerful for enhancing your training when you're actually doing the physical training, right? So again, it can be a very useful thing. So with that said, with the journaling thing, what could you do with journaling? Well, first off, you can try to write down all the notes for techniques. Some people can do it very well. I can do it decently now because I have a kind of a jiu-jitsu shorthand. When I write, I can shorten things down. I know exactly what I mean now. But when I was a white, blue, purple belt, I used to take notes because I thought I was being very studious. I would go to seminars with my notepad and writing stuff down. I look at those, I have no damn idea what the hell I was talking about because, they're technical details. And so it's really hard to just look at those without a picture. And then two, I have chicken scratch for handwriting. So I'm trying to scribble things down as this guy's teaching a technique. It was silly. It was a waste of time, in my opinion. What has always been more useful to me with journaling and getting the most out of journaling is asking myself open-ended questions. What happened? What happened during that roll? How did I get beat? What did I win with? What's something I think I could work on next time? You just ask yourself these open-ended questions and it gets your mind churning a little bit, right? You're like, you start thinking about things. And honestly, this is, I think, probably one of the best uses for journals in general is just asking yourself open-ended questions, because what is journaling other than simply having a conversation with yourself? It's really what it is. And so you're essentially reflecting on what happened, which is beneficial for your training later on because you're having to retrieve the information, and then you're trying to work through it. And again, you're just letting things fly. And so if you're asking about journaling, there's lots of different ways to do this. But what I would suggest is after your sessions are over, after your training sessions are over, whether that's in your car, whether that's at home, once you get done, you get settled down, stop and ask yourself a couple of questions. Just what happened? What happened during the roll? How did I get beaten? You get the idea, right? Ask yourself these questions and then let yourself just sort of stew through there. By the way, shameless plug, I do have a journal on my website that you can get, and it's got a bunch of different prompts that you can use to help sort of spur up some ideas as to what you could do to improve your training, improve what you're doing on the mats, that kind of stuff. And so again, with that said, bro, hopefully that helps you, Mark. Good luck with your training, good luck with your journaling, and I'll talk to you guys next time.